Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss about analysis and synthesis of prior art. This is the second topic in the second module. So here whatever we discussed in the previous topic, existing and new knowledge, it's like acts as a continuous source, okay, or continuous concept. So after collecting the sources, once you collect all the data from the search engines, like after doing a review of literature, okay, so for doing review of literature, when you collect all the sources after collecting, so usually the articles intended to be used in literature review, so you collect the data to review it, right? The researcher is ready to break down each article. That means you are going to start reading each paper one by one, and then you need to break down each article. Break down each article is nothing but after reading that you are writing your own opinion. That is called a review, that you are reviewing the paper. So identify the useful content in it. Whatever the useful things are there for your research, you are going to identify, highlight it, okay. Then synthesize the collection of articles. That means integrate them, identify the conclusions that can be made from the articles as a group. So for example, for my procedure, I will use a certain kind of around 10 articles. So that is one of the group which I can use it for procedure or methodology or something like that. For results and discussion, I use similar kind of setup, or 5 out of 10, maybe 5 articles I can use it for research and results. And for introduction, I can use around 20 papers. And for review of literature, I have to use all the papers. All these things will be there, right? Then we can categorize into group wise. So a literature survey grid of n topics. If you can make out the grid out of the researcher survey. So literature survey a grid of n topics. If n topics are there, if we are having n number of topics and m sources are there, for example, one topic is there and around 100 papers are there, like that, okay. So here n equal to 1 and m equal to 100. So is shown below to help crystallize the information in different categories. For example, imagine you are having the topic number 1, okay. So you are having n number of resources here, okay. So it can be 2 resources, okay, or it can be n number of resources. For example, for topic 1 here, the resource source 2 whereas topic 2 you are having source 1 and source m. Source m can be maybe 50 or 40 or something like that. Or maybe topic n number of topics, you can have source 1, source 2, or so on and so, because here we are having both the things, okay. One source and source 2 are there, so obviously that will be for topic n. So similarly, topic 3, it can be the both source 1 and source 2, or topic 4, that can be the topic n itself. So that's how it works. Look, for example, you are having some particular topics here on the on column, so a number of topics are there, so you are having a number of resources are there. For this particular topic, for introduction, imagine topic 1 is an introduction, so I will take it from the source 2, that is the paper 2. And for topic 2, I will take from the paper 1 out of paper 10, whatever I have shortlisted, right? And maybe the 10th paper, okay, or all the papers. Or then the same for all the topics, I can use for source 1, paper 1, paper 2, or maybe a number of papers, whatever the papers you have downloaded, right, or shortlisted. So a researcher should analyze the relevant information ascertaining in the table 2.1 by undertaking the following steps. So along with this, identifying this particular what is a survey grid, you have to follow this particular steps, okay. So first thing, you need to understand the hypothesis. So understanding the hypothesis is very important. So what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is something which is not at practical, but logically, scientifically it is acceptable. Whatever the proposal you have made for a particular research or a project, that has to be scientifically and logically meaningful. That is called as hypothesis, but it doesn't have to be the to be already done in the research, or it doesn't have to be just research. So understanding the models and the experimental conditions which are used. For example, after all these papers, out of all these resources at 1, 2, 3 until m, So understanding the models, so you need to understand what are the models they have used it for a particular study or particular results and discussions, and experimental conditions. Maybe they might have used some parameters like pH, concentration, or maybe the temperature, different temperature, different pH, any different parameters, whatever they are using. All those things comes as experimental conditions. So you need to understand what models they have used and what are the experimental conditions they have used, and then making connections. You need to connect the dots between, like, okay, they have used this and they have got this. Okay, when they have changed this and they got this as an extra result, and then they changed the material and they got this, like that. Because so the making connection is very important, not only in one paper, single paper, but also a number of papers will be there. It's like, for example, in paper 5 there is something, and that can be connected with the paper 10, because paper 10 has got paper 10 and paper 5 has got similar applications, but materials are changed. So we are going to connect that dot. So here they use this material, they got this property, this application. They have got changed the material in paper 10, they have got this. So that is making connections. So that once you make the connection, you can come up with the proposal that so and so they have done, so and so is remaining, that we can be done. So comparing, and the fourth one is comparing and contrasting the various information. Same thing what I just told. Once you make the connection, you'll start comparing. Okay, they have got this, they have got this, and what should I get? So comparing and contrasting is nothing but you are trying to overlap one's result, paper 5 and paper 10's results, and see what are the differences. So you are trying to say that both belong to same category, and both are giving me the, for example, in my case, both silver and gold are giving the antibacterial properties. So that is contrasting property which is having with both silver and gold. So similarly, the contrasting the various information regarding after comparison, that has to be understood, or that has to be done properly. So all these things comes under analyzing the research articles. So then finally, the finding out the strong points and the loopholes. Obviously, you cannot say that every research is just a positive result. There are some negative things they will be mentioning in their research and results and discussion. So in result and discussion, usually they will mention so and so has been done, and so. So our work is, obviously they will portray their positive things much. But there are some things will be there, they will mention. So there is some significant work has been done, so and so you got so and so. So there has to be a few more work has to be focused on this, so and so. Whenever they write these kind of sentences, so and so work has to be done and we are on it, like that. Those kind of things are actually negative aspects of their project, but they have not they don't want to portray it. So you can say that particular thing, obviously as an author, I want to do that research, but I don't have time now. I will be doing it later, but as of now I want my paper, so I'm publishing my paper. There is nothing wrong in that. But these are the things, like strong points are the one things which has already been done and published, and all those things are been tried and done. Whereas the loopholes are nothing but sometimes in some researchers they want to cover up the loopholes. So they will say that well, these are the things that should be concentrated. That's once you read the paper, you'll come to know that these are the things they could have done it, but they have not done. But they instead doing it, they might have given some excuses. All those things can be a loopholes, or sometimes directly the loopholes the author itself will declare. So and so things are the strong points of this particular material. We are not able to get the expected results, but yet we are somehow we got some results, so like that and all. So even those things also loopholes also plays a very important. So understanding the hypothesis, now we know what is hypothesis. Next, understanding the models and experimental conditions which are being used in the particular papers, and then making connections, compare it, contrasting, and then finally finding out the strong and loopholes, strong points and loopholes. So it is always good to be suspicious of our claims, which are made in the resources. For example, here sources are nothing but research articles which you have been already, which are being published, which have downloaded and kept for your reading purposes. When you are reading, you should not be blind for the authors. You cannot simply say that whatever you have downloaded, whatever is written in the paper, every sentence has to be true. No, it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. So you can always have a suspicion. How come they got this? How come they got this? So this has got this property. Why? But I was not expecting this. They have got this. So those kind of suspicious nature should be there, so that you can come up with a effective, what exactly is going on, that you can easily clarify. For even you can write a mail to the authors also. You can write a mail to the publishers or journals also, by asking more clarification on this particular thing, because you are suspicious. So I don't think this is the exact results. I mean, we have conducted experiments also, we are not getting these results, and maybe these are whatever is written is not so meaningful, because if you are so good at in that particular research field or area, you will be knowing that these things are not going in right direction. So once you know that these things are not going in right direction, and things whatever has been used is not so correct, or not so in a proper manner, then you can simply say that these things have not been done properly. So that's why these things have been gone wrong. So that can be you can either go to the direct journal papers, or you can ask anyone else regarding that, or whatever that can be done. So that's how you are going to say that the claims, or whatever the claims they have made is wrong. So most of the times it has been done, it has been proven, even in IIT professors or researchers, even NIT researchers, they have all been done these kind of things, and there are many examples. Later they have to withdraw their papers because of wrong information, all those things. So you always has to be suspicious. It doesn't have to follow blindly anything. So if your area of knowledge is good, then you are able to make, after reading the paper, you are able to make whether this is right or wrong. If you are feeling something doubtful, then it's better to be suspicious. So that's what the point is aiming to tell. So the goal of literature review is to bring out something new to work on through the identification of unresolved issues. Like for example, see, everything has got a goal. So here a lot of goals we had discussed about research literature. Here one more goal they are trying to say is to bring out something new to work. So that means obviously review of literature, what do you do? Something whatever already being published, leave that, and whatever you can be doing, that new thing, so new to work. So on through the through identification of unresolved problems which are not solved and or not resolved. So those issues you need to take up in determining the problems in the existing models or experimental designs. Either you can come up with a new idea or new solution for the unresolved problems, or maybe already solutions are there for resolved problems, but you can improvise that, determine the problems in the existing models or existing experimental designs. So and then present a novel idea, or it can be the present totally completely the novel idea, very new idea, and recommendations that can be done. So no matter where one gets available information, so one needs to be critically evaluate each resources that the researcher wishes to cite. Obviously, before citing or before using that information for your research, you need to make sure that wherever you are getting the papers. For example, when I started my research journey, when I started doing review of literature, I didn't know what exactly the review of literature. We didn't have subjects called review of literature. I mean, research methodology, that, this, and all. So I didn't know much about review of literature. So when I started reviewing, I got a lot of information. So I knew that the Google Scholar we can use. So Google Scholar also, there are a lot of articles which I come across which are not authentic at all. That means they have not published in a highly reputed journals. Now you know what are highly reputed journals, all those things I have explained in the beginning or introduction classes. If you go and see the research methodology first and second video, you will come to know that. So these journals, it should be published in some reputed journals or indexed a minimum in Scopus or Web of Science and all, or else in Google Scholar what happens even nowadays, because of the all other these apps, so like ResearchGates and AdSys and all, they are publishing some in normal journals where some a little bit amount they will pay and they will submit publish. There are a number of journals are there, they are doing like that. So once that work is also will be showed in Google Scholar. That is the major drawback of Google Scholar. So once you read that, you cannot simply cite that work as it is, because it might not have that quality work. That's why it is not been published in Scopus Indexed or any other top reputed journals. You don't have to cite this, because you don't know the quality of the work. Even though if you are coming from this, if your field of interest, field of area is so strong, you yourself will find that paper is not worth to cite. Okay, so no matter from where the source, or whether it is Google Scholar or whether it is or any kind of resources, whatever we are getting, any kind of search engines, the resource must be checked twice. And if it is published in reputed journals, then only it is suggested or recommended to cite. So this methodology analyzes available materials to determine the suitability for the intended research. Definitely the methodology, whatever we just explained, this analyzes available materials to determine suitability for the intended research, whether it is suitable for our research. So that is very important. So relying on refereed articles published in the scholarly journals or granted patents that can save the researchers a lot of time. Definitely, as I told you, if you are relying on the papers which has been published in Scopus Index journals or Web of Science journals, definitely you are going to save a lot of time, because these Web of Science, Scopus and a lot of these high quality publishing, indexing and abstracting organizations, they will make sure that these articles are of high quality, right? So once you start reading with a high quality data or high quality content, definitely you are going to save a lot of time, which might not be useful by reading the normal, or you can say not so quality work, data or information. So here are the few criteria that could help the researcher in the evaluation of the information under study. So in that we are having the authority, accuracy, scope. Okay, maybe only three things. So authority is nothing but what are the author's credentials and affiliations, who publishes the information. So usually once you see, these are three criteria, okay, that could help researcher in evaluating information to study. For example, if you want to consider particular research articles, you can see their authors also. See the author's credentials, whether these authors are real or not, or maybe they're coming from the top good institutes or not, top institutes or not, maybe from IITs and ITs, or maybe some top universities, or maybe more of the engineering colleges which has got a good name. Definitely that affiliation also matters, because the top colleges, the best facilities will give you the best research outcomes. So who publishes the information, all those things plays a very important role. Then you can go with the accuracy. So based on what one already knows about the topic, or from reading other resources, does the information seem credible? So that is also very important. That the author cite other resources in the reference list or a bibliography to support the information presented. So that is also very important. For example, if you read one paper, in that paper, if it is not been much discussed with some other work and all, then it's better to leave that paper, because always in the research and results and discussion, there has to be more papers. So because the more the discussion, that means the more accuracy the work is. Okay, accurate the work is. So scope is nothing but it's the source at an appropriate comprehension or a research level. So it's nothing but an appropriate comprehension. That obviously the scope is very important. It is an overall, the objective of the review of literature or the research, whether your paper, whatever the paper you are doing, reading, whether that has scope or not, that has to be checked. So there are other criteria also there to consider as well, such as currency is there, objectivity is there, and purpose is there. So currency is when it comes to the For example, there are a lot of papers which are not published openly, so we have to pay in order to get the papers. Okay, those things and all comes in as a currency, and the objectivity is there. Okay, so whether that objects are clearly mentioned and whether they are matching with your ideas or thoughts or objectives or approaches, and also the purpose. So it is important to ensure that the research question is neither too narrow nor too broad. So here the search question has to be, appropriate. It should not be too narrow, it should not be too broad. So next topic is bibliographic databases. In this we will study what is Google Scholar and Web of Science. That we will discuss in the next class.